Welcome back to Making Math Something Easy. Today you'll learn how to represent and divide unit fractions and whole numbers. Disclaimer: today's lesson mainly applies to 5th graders in Texas. 5th grade teaks focus on representing and dividing a unit fraction by a whole number and a whole number by a unit fraction. Let's review some important vocabulary. A unit fraction is a fraction with a 1 in the numerator. The numerator is the number on top of a fraction. Some other examples of unit fractions include 1/4, 1/3, 1/5, 1/10, 1/20th, 100th, 1/1000th, and so on. Let's begin by learning how to divide a whole number by a unit fraction. Number 1. Miss Contreras buys 2 pounds of Takis. 2 pounds is my total amount. If I put 2 pounds in each bag, how many bags can I make? Since 2 pounds of Takis is my total, and I'm putting 2 pounds in each bag, that means I'm dividing 2 divided by 2, which means I can make 1 bag, because 2 divided by 2 is 1. This time, I'm putting 1 pound in each bag. How many bags can I make? My total is 2 pounds of Takis. Each bag needs 1 pound, which means I'm dividing 2 divided by 1. After dividing, I see that I can make 2 bags. Now I want to put 1/2 bag of Takis in each bag. How many bags can I make? Remember, my total is 2 pounds of Takis, and I'm splitting or dividing the Takis into half-pound bags. We can use a fraction area model to represent a whole number being divided by a fraction. I do this by drawing my 2 holes, then I partition or divide each hole vertically into fractional pieces, because each section represents a bag. I can make 4 bags, which means 2 divided by 1/2 is 4. This time, I'm putting 1/3 pound of Takis in each bag. How many bags can I make? 2 pounds is being divided by 1/3. I set up my fraction area model by drawing 2 holes. Since I'm dividing by 1/3, I'm going to partition or cut each hole into 3 sections by drawing 2 dashed lines. Last, I count the number of sections because they represent each bag. There are 6 bags, which means 2 divided by 1/3 equals 6. Now I'm putting 1/4 pound in each bag. 2 pounds is being divided by 1/4. Fraction area models can be shown using other polygons. After drawing the total amount as circles, I'm going to partition my circles into fourths. Make sure that you have equal-sized pieces. Last, I count the fourths. There are 8 sections or bags, which means 2 divided by 1/4 equals 8. Let's get some extra practice. Copy the following problems and solve them. When you finish, click play. Check your work alongside mine. The goal is to find and fix your mistakes. See you in a bit. Welcome back. As you check your work, I want you to pay attention to the patterns that you're noticing with our digits and equations and drop them in the chat. You will notice patterns and shortcuts, and let me know if you like the extra practice or not. As you worked, did you notice any patterns or a shortcut? Drop it in the chat if you did. Let's switch gears and focus on how to divide a unit fraction by a whole number. I bought some pans of brownies to give to my 3 friends to share equally. Since I'm sharing equally with my 3 friends, that means I'm dividing by 3. Before we begin, make sure that you have a highlighter or a colored pencil. If I have 3 pans of brownies, how many pans of brownies will each friend receive? My total is 3, so I'll draw and highlight 3 rectangles because that's how much I'm starting with. I'm dividing 3 pans of brownies by 3 friends. Next, partition each pan into 3 friends. Each of my friends will receive 1 pan of brownies because 3 pans divided by 3 friends equals 1. This time, I have 1 pan of brownies. How much will each friend get? My total is 1 pan, So I need to draw and highlight one rectangle to represent one whole pan of brownies. I'm taking one whole pan of brownies and dividing it by 3 friends. On my fraction area model, I'm going to use dashed lines to partition my whole into 3 horizontal sections to represent each friend. My answer will be one of the 3 sections because it represents how much each friend gets. 1 divided by 3 equals 1/3. This time I have 1/2 pound of brownies. How much will each friend get? My total is 1/2 pound of brownies, and I'm dividing or splitting the amount by 3 friends. Just like a whole number, a fraction can be split into smaller pieces. We can use a fraction area model to represent dividing a fraction by a whole number. First, I draw and highlight 1/2 of a whole since 1/2 is my total. Next, I'm going to partition 1/2 into 3 sections horizontally. It's very important for your dashed lines to be the opposite direction of 1/2. My final answer is going to be the number of shaded pieces each friend will receive. Looking at my first friend, they will receive 1 out of 6 total pieces of brownie. 1/2 divided by 3 equals 1/6. This time, I have 1/3 a pan of brownies. How much will each friend get? My total is 1/3 of a pound of brownie, and I'm splitting between 3 friends. I set up my fraction area model by drawing and highlighting 1/3 vertically, or up and down. Next, I partition 3 sections horizontally by drawing 2 dashed lines to make 3 sections. Lastly, I look at each friend's section to see how much of the total brownie they will receive. Each friend will get 1 out of 9 pieces of the brownie. This time, I have 1/5 of a brownie to share. How much will each of my friends get? 1/5 is my total, and I'm dividing it by 3 friends. First, I set up my fraction area model by drawing and highlighting 1/5 vertically or up and down. Next, I partition 3 sections horizontally or side to side because I'm sharing to 3 people. Finally, I look at each section to see how much of the brownie each friend will receive. Each of my friends will get 1 out of 15 pieces of the brownie. This concept might be a little tricky, but we need you to visualize if you're starting with a fraction or a part of a whole and you're dividing it between people, each piece that everyone gets will be an even smaller part or fraction. Because this is a tricky skill, I want to give you some extra practice. Copy the following problems and solve them. When you finish, click play. Check your work alongside mine. The goal is to find and fix your mistakes. I'll see you in a bit. Click pause. Welcome back, everybody. I hope that this practice time was very useful. Just let me know how much you liked it or not. And I'm hoping that you started to notice patterns and shortcuts. As you start to notice patterns and shortcuts, drop them in the chat so others can catch on to them too. A final reminder that today's lesson and shortcuts mainly work for 5th graders in Texas. Most teachers teach dividing fractions through a strategy called Keep, Change, Flip. This strategy is used for fractions that don't have a 1 in the numerator